Hey everyone, Odds here. Happy New Year and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over some user replays here. There's a member of the community, Henaki, not sure, submitted some replays. They need some help. They are at about 1100 to 1200 MMR. And the note that I have here is, hi, I'm trying to push towards a higher MMR, but I have huge problems with initial positioning and answering my opponent's unit compositions, especially if it is a scaling build up. If I lose, I think I lost the game 3 rounds prior. I try to use what the game is giving me, maybe the best, maybe that is the initial problem, but it gets boring to only try meta builds. So we're going to help this player and see if we can increase their MMR with some tips. And now we did a video like this a few days ago, and I had some comments that, hey, maybe, you know what, we're doing things a bit too advanced. So I'm going to try to dial it back a bit. We're going to talk about more broad picture stuff. And because we're going to go over 3 replays, I'm going to put it at 2x and put on quick deploy, and then I will pause if we need to talk about things. Okay. So we've got missile spec up against elite spec. And the first round, honestly, like, this is totally fine. We don't have to talk too much about the first round. And I'll pause it because what we want to talk about is like the response afterwards. All right. So here we go. We actually have a unit drop, but oh gosh, they've already picked. All right, I got a quick deploy. All right, so Rhino and Wasp pick. But yeah, let's have a look at this board right now. Okay, Heneki on the bottom here. I see that we're playing a kind of standard formation, and I looked quickly at the other replays. It looks like this player likes to play standard-ish. So we're going to focus on standard play and not aggro tempo kind of based play. Okay, so steel ball tech, we got kinetic charge. We don't have range. We got mech div, fortified lock, armor. Okay, that's fine. And you put them at the back here. I guess, you know, that can synergize with kinetic charge. Cool. You've got fangs. Fangs you've positioned here. These are pretty typical standard positioning. Okay, so we want to be playing far back, and these covers flanks, it covers, you know, whatever, and then we have one up front here just as tanking. So right away, positioning from the start, not too bad. We've also got a couple arc lights. They're hard to see in front of these towers. Great positioning here, no problems. Okay, opponent was elite spec. They are, what was it, a Void Eye and Mustang pack. So against Void Eye Mustang, yeah, Void Eyes can be pretty good against the steel ball. Mustang is, it's good against fangs. So maybe you got the worst end of the deal here on the starter pack, but we can always fix that. The first round doesn't matter too much. And you are missile strike against Mustang, which is quite strong. Every round you can put a missile up like here, and they're already at the back. Like, they would have to put a bubble all the way at the back to protect them. So you could say round 2, round 3, you get to kill a Mustang basically for free. So that's not bad. But the problem is, yeah, crawlers at level 2. They can be a bit of a challenge. Let's see what the response here is. Oh, you're going to use them both in one turn. Okay. So I would recommend doing them on separate turns. And the reason being, if you kill one, you get a slight advantage in one turn. And this is 200 cost, right? And then you may be able to win that first round. And then if you do it again, you know, another 200 cost reduced from the enemy army. And so you have an advantage over 2 rounds, where that 200 cost early on is more impactful, right? Because the whole unit, or sorry, the whole army cost is not that high. So you're going to be able to prolong that advantage over 2 rounds. Or if you do it all in 1 round, you're definitely going to win the round, or almost certainly going to win the round. But you only get that advantage for 1 round, right? So I'm expecting you to win this 1 round. Also, I mean, you have Wasp, and there's no anti-air, so obviously that's going to work out. I guess in a way too, though, if he blew both of those missiles in 1 turn and that same turn you're going air, it's kind of, I don't know, redundant a bit. Okay, orbital chosen here, so let's see. Of these, yeah, orbital, It's only round 3. It costs 150. You could certainly take it and maybe you'll get it back. Maybe that's how you want to play. But being that we're playing standard, we have almost 5,000 HP. The game's going to go long. We already need to start thinking about our win condition here. And I think this is something that players forget to do. They think, how do I win the round? How do I win the round? And they go round by round by round, and then eventually, hopefully, win the game. But it's important to take a step back and think about, how am I going to win the game? Not the round, but the game. And in this case, if we're spending 150 on this now, sure, it might come back later, and that might be helpful. But being that we have so much health, the game is probably going to last a long time, and it might be useful to start building up, spending money into our army or upgrades or whatever we need, because that's going to provide more value in the long run. Kind of like I was saying last turn, where if you missile both things out, then you get an advantage for one round, but then it doesn't really affect you in other rounds. So in this case, if you had only used one missile, and then this round you'd have one missile, you would not need to pick the spell here. You'd save 150. So a bit of an economy loss here by choosing this. And now we see your opponent has 2 level 2 Mustangs. They just went more light units here. We got Crawlers and Mustangs, and then they just still have the Void Eyes here. I noticed that you picked up more Void Eyes. So the Void Eyes are really good as like single target damage, right? But we don't have any units that are really bad against Void Eyes, right? Like, I'm not sure what these are answering. The problem that you're going to have, actually, is you only have 2 Arc Lights to clear chaff, and they take, you know, a couple extra shots to clear level 2 Crawlers. And if your opponent just keeps making Crawlers, you're going to get outscaled. You do have a Tempo Missile here, so now you've spent $50 on the missile here, 150 over here. And are you even going to win the round? Looks like you will. But was that worth it? They're still at 3,500. That's, yeah. All right. So now this round we've got Improved Firepower, which you do pick, Nano, Quick Supply, and Improved Sandworm. So Improved Firepower is a strong card with Mustang. Maybe you have a plan here for Improved Firepower. Nano is also good though. If we think about the board here, we have a whole bunch of light units doing minimal damage. These Void Eyes are all level 1. They do have Charge Shot. It's not chosen yet, but you might be able to have something with armor, something high HP maybe, that can just lock up all the Mustangs, because essentially nearly all the DPS is coming from these Mustangs right now. But I mean, this is totally fine. Let's see what you do with it. We got some levels here. We got suppression shot. No, we're going for range instead. So again, I'm not sure I understand this. Right? Sure, we get some range with the Void Eye, but there's not really any targets right now. There's no sense in teching these or building more Void Eyes right now until the opponent, like, unless you're like reacting to something, right? But there's nothing that we're seeing yet. These Farseers are new. So like maybe they'll help against Farseer, but you still have, well, now you've got 4 Arc Lights. Okay. So you are building up the Arc Lights. I see +1 here. That's pretty good. And so now you got a bit of a comp here, right? You got your Arc Light Void Eye. All right, I see. Your Wasps come in and die right away. You probably want to think about selling those Wasps. 1 Wasp pack against 4 Mustangs. It's not going to work out. Plus there's also the Farseers. So these Void Eyes do work out a bit because of that level 2 Farseer. But not quite getting the round there. And now we've got Efficient Light chosen. We're in round 5. This is a great choice. 100% support this choice. Right, you're over 4,000 HP. You have the HP lead. You are free to take the economy card. This is great. This is setting up a win condition. You have an economy win condition now where you can outscale your opponent just by having more stuff for cheaper, right? You'll eventually get to the point where by saving so much money on light units, you will outscale them. So here's what I was saying before. Yeah, you got the missile here and double. You force these bubbles here just by being missile spec. All right. So I see we've got a couple Mustangs here, level 1 with improved firepower and immediate range. Let's have a look at the opponent's board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 packs of level 2 crawlers, 4 packs of Mustang. That's, you know, basically 11 packs of chaff. I'm including the Mustangs as chaff at this point because they don't even have range or anything. And the only thing that really deals with that is the arc lights here. We've got 4 arc lights. Okay, 11 packs of things that should be killed by arc lights with only 4 arc lights. We do have range, that's okay. But let's try to make a rule here. Let's say, you know, we want to match the, I'm not sure, maybe 2 to 1, let's say. So if there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 packs, and we want 4, so that's okay. But with another 2 here with the Mustangs, we probably want another 2 arc lights, right? So then we would have 6 against 11, so rounded to 12, right? Then you have half as many. So I think that could be a good rule to follow here for chaff clear. The other thing is chaff yourself, right? It would be good to match the chaff amount too. Of the crawlers, right? There was, what was it? 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I keep messing up here. 7. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are behind by 2 packs of chaff and 2 packs of chaff clear. We've invested more into single target damage against a board that doesn't really have tanky single target units other than these Farseer. Only have 2 Farseer and we've got, you know, 5 Void Eyes. So not expecting this to work out too well. Also spent $100 on missiles here. That could have been, you know, a defense upgrade, for example. Right, our goal here is to scale into the late game. You are actually winning this round, so that's nice. The Mustangs do get a level. That's very good. And here we go. So, but you did spend 100 on missiles there, so that probably helped clearing those crawlers in order to help you to win that round. So another $100 down the drain, right? We're spending a lot of money on missiles and spells here. That's not going into our army. So even though you have a health lead here, you can still win this game, but you're starting to lose your efficiency here, right? You have efficient light, starting to lose a bit of that value. So we had a unit drop here. You go for the Scorp up against the Wraith being chosen here. Now there was Steel Ball as well. You already sold out of that. Marksman is a possibility and Wraith. So do you have Aerial on Void Eye? Yes. So sure, I understand not wanting Marksman here. That kind of doubles up, right? Single target damage. You could click on Aerial mode and that'll get them in the air. Aerial shoot air stuff. So, you know, maybe you don't need the Marksman. Sure. Scorpion. I'm not sure why Scorpion's chosen here. Maybe this is just a comp that you like, but Scorpion is a good sort of, not quite single target, but like group damage, small group like sledges or like hounds even, steel balls, stuff like that. And it is a good unit for standard. But again, we're looking at the board here, and what are we answering with those Scorpions? There's nothing on the board that we're worried about. Maybe we're worried Steel Ball is chosen, but Steel Ball is already going to be countered by the Void Eye here. So this unit, I don't think is the right choice here. In this case, I would probably choose the Wraith because we need extra help with the chaff clear. Eventually, arc lights will get outscaled unless you have a tremendous amount of them. So you could go for the Wraith here because that's going to help with chaff clear and clearing these crawlers. Maybe you're worried about the Farseer. If you have land mode, looks like you do have land cruiser. You can always eventually go into land cruiser to help with that. You could have them for one turn, bait out maybe them playing aerial spec. And then once they click that button, click on land mode. But look, you got a little spot here. Like this would be a good little spot for your wraiths. But here we go. Actually, opponent goes into sandworm. Okay, so I'm gonna take back some of what I said here, because they did have that improved sandworm card from earlier. So maybe you were expecting sandworm at some point. But still, the scorpion, and then right away into siege mode. I'd make it a rule, like when you pick a unit first time, like don't tech them right away unless you know what your opponent's doing, especially on a unit drop turn, because maybe you don't actually want siege mode. Siege mode against worm, not exactly the best. You want, you know, acid, you know, maybe double shot. We don't have double shot on the bar here, unfortunately, but double shot helps a lot against the sandworms, because if the sandworm gets mech div or well, they don't have mech div, or sorry, they do have mech div, but they don't have the other one, the destroyed one, the larva when they pop up every time. For some reason the name is escaping me. Anyways, to kill all the baby worms, double shot does work. Acid helps as well. But yeah, good missile there. But now we've got level 2 improved sandworms to deal with. I would have liked to see, what do you call it? The extra damage charge shot. This player has a pretty good bar for Void Eye, suppression, charge, range, EMP. No aerial, but that's okay. I really think charge shot is really important on Void Eye, because in this case, seeing the sandworm, and you've already invested into these, and you have some high-level Void Eyes, if you had charge shot right here, you could click it right away, and these sandworms are going to die. But now we have to invest in a melter. I mean, getting the absorb mod on melter is good. However, melter will eventually get outscaled by sandworm, right? Especially improved sandworm. Move speed is too fast, splash range increase, etc. All that stuff. If the sandworm gets in on the melter, it will die. But now, like, look at the problem that we've got here. You've had to tech the Void Eye, the Scorpion, the Melter. Maybe we're undoing the Melter. No. We tech the Melter. So a lot of techs here. Hang on. And now look at the board. So you've got all these Melter, Scorp, Mustang, the Void Eyes, like all these units here, and you're neglecting something, right? You're neglecting your chaff. So you look at the opponent's board: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 packs of chaff, plus the 4 Mustang. So let's say they have range, yeah. Well, let's just say 9 packs of chaff, right? We'll just stick with the chaff here, the crawlers and the fangs. And you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're behind by 3 packs of chaff. Plus these are all level 2. So you could even consider that even more, right? What did I say it was? 11? So like 22 packs. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 or whatever. Yeah, 6. That's really not great. And I see you're missling again, right? You're missling because you're worried about all of these crawlers getting in, because your chaff clear is also insufficient. If there is the equivalent of 22 packs of chaff and we have 5 chaff clear units, that's not sufficient. We want to try to match that. I know they're level 2, so, but if it's like 11, so around to 12, that would be what, 6? So that would be behind by 1, but because they're level 2, I would, want even more. 7. If you had like 8 of them or something, maybe that would be good. But it needs to be more than this. You have less than half. It needs to be more than half. If we look at the value, right? So Arclight at level 1 is 100. You have a level 3, level 2, whatever. So, a little bit more. But these crawlers are also 100. but now they're 150 with the level 2. So if you were to add up 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, etc., this value is going to be far greater than the value here that you've spent on arc lights in order to defend against that chaff. So it's not sufficient, and that's why you're missling, and you're spending money on missiles that would be better used for more arc lights, for example, or arc light upgrades. Right? You could get shockwave, you could get elite. And now, yeah, these sandworms are a bit too tanky, and the rest of the board is staying alive, and you've gotten outscaled. So I see, hang on a second, we have advanced targeting picked for justice, and you've got incendiary, again, another spell. You're forced to take spells because it's too many crawlers. The crawlers are hard to deal with. Like, it's good that you're recognizing this. Now we've got steel ball here. Steel ball with range can help the sandworm, but you've already answered the sandworm with the melter. What you want to do is support the melter. Okay, you want the melter to do its job. That's the unit that you've chosen for the sandworm. Okay, more steel balls is probably not going to help. So what we need to do to support it, build chaff around it, build chaff clear around it. Make sure that we can kill all the stuff that's protecting the sandworm, so that the melter can get a lock on the sandworm, kill the sandworm, and then once the sandworm's dead, the rest of the army can clear up, you know, all the mustangs and garbage in the back. Might do well here with this fire. And in fact you do, and that's great. So you're going to be able to take this round, I think, but maybe just barely. There is a lot of stuff on the left here. Okay. So we've got like, yeah. Hang on. We've got like 3 different answers for sandworms, basically. We got the melter, we got the scorpion, the void eyes can even help. They don't have charge shot, but they are high level. And the steel ball for 2 units, right? Why can't we spend more money to clear the more numerous units here? There's, you know, all the crawlers. So a good choice here, though, clicking on the hound. Right? You're recognizing that there is a chaff clear problem. You can get the hounds. Yeah, you got incendiary, sure. That can work for a turn. Level on the melter, right? So when I mentioned win condition before, this is a win condition unit. Melter with absorption module and levels will never die. That's a win condition. Okay, it will always, it could always survive, right? It's very difficult to deal with. So we want to protect these melters. How do we protect it? More chaff. So let's look at the board here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packs of chaff still. Then we have probably 11 still. Or actually, there's even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 11. And you can even consider the mech div on the sandworm a form of chaff. A really annoying one. And a level 4 sandworm with absorb module. This is a win condition for the opponent. Improve sandworm. How can we deal with that? Yeah, sure. Light things on fire. This could help. Like, you are still finding ways to try to deal with this. Let's see what happens. You get a good lock here. Get a good lock here. And now look, okay? So the Mustangs are free farming this whole time. There's nothing putting pressure on them because it's taking a bit too long to clear the sandworm and clear the chaff. Well, actually in this case, the chaff was cleared by the fire, but it's still taking too long to clear the sandworm. Sandworm does get in on that melter eventually, like I said, but they will get in. Sandworm does outscale the melter eventually. You're not going to die here. And here's what I'm talking about, that win condition, right? This melter, level 2 with absorb. It's like, almost staying alive and killing everything. It gets a level. I hope I see a level that next turn. And we've got the double pickup on amp core. Sure, that works. We can put it over here. Melter, great. That's fine. Absorb module, or sorry, energy absorption. It's not absorb. That can be good. Yep. The other thing is, like, in order to turn off the worms from being able to strike, being able to mech div, like, this is the most important one, right? We need EMP. And the only source of EMP I see here, right, is the EMP barrage on Melter. It would be nice if you had EMP maybe on Arclight, if you'd like to play Arclight. You know, maybe you don't need armor on Arclight if you're playing standard. I think armor on Arclight is more of a aggro tempo kind of tech. So if we could swap that with EMP, that could be good, because what'll happen is they'll lock on the sandworm and they'll EMP them, and then they won't be able to make baby sandworms. Ignite chosen here as well. This is great. I love that you have this tech, but imagine if you had a whole lot more fangs. Ignite is probably the only way to deal with this sandworm. So good job recognizing that. It needs EMP and it needs Ignite to stop that absorb. So let's see how this works out here. This guy is locked on, but because he's not EMP, we're gonna have like level 4 baby. Oh no, he does go underground again. Wait, no, yeah, no, he died. But still, now the larvae come up. And these Mustangs, now all we have left is some melters. You might be able to do it with the absorption, but no. It's hard to absorb against light units. Nuke, I mean, you're given all... You got so many opportunities here. Nuke, acid could even help here. You don't have acid on anything. Nuke is kind of tough to deal with, the sandworm, but I mean, you could get these high-level Mustangs here. Also note, I mean, the other thing is, like, you chose Incendiary to help compensate for your lack of chaff clear with the Arclight, but immediately it's turned off with the Missile Interceptor. Like, it only works for 1 round, basically. So we're still, you know, not clearing stuff quickly enough. I see you've sold out of those balls now, right? And now we've got our EMP. Okay. What else do we got? I mean, let's see. Decent missile here. You've also pulled these back. Does that accomplish anything? It pulls them farther away from your tower. And your stuff is no longer under the tower. The missile, or sorry, that nuke is decent. The left side, yeah, now this stuff's not protected by your bubble here. You get a little bit of EMP off. The sandworm is scaling a little bit more. We don't have anything really to deal with these Mustangs at this point. Here's like 1 Arclight that survived on the right. If this guy had, you know, elite marksman, EMP or something, like maybe he could shoot from farther back and help in this scenario. It looks like you're gonna get this round. Okay, good, good, good. So, your win condition, melters here. Keep the melters alive. They're doing their job. Double Abyss, double sold. Okay. Level 5 melter with absorb module, energy absorption, range, EMP. Like, this is fantastic. It's very difficult to deal with. Now you have fire on this turn. So you're given another opportunity here to clear chaff with spells. Praise be to Bear-like. Could have even gone for the Fire Badger here. Right, if you're just gonna, I don't know. If you wanted to make sure you light that. I guess it doesn't, you're gonna try to light it with the hounds, but they're gonna get intercepted possibly. Actually, intelligent play by your opponent. Actually clicking Fire Extinguisher this turn. Let's slow this one down a little bit. So that's why you can't really always rely on fire. You still need the Arclight or some other chaff clear. We got some worms getting locked onto, but Look, all this stuff is... Oh, man, now there's Sandstorm. Which is weird, actually, because there are Mustangs, so it's actually kind of disabling the opponent's own Mustangs. The Sandworm... Oh, and now you get EMP'd with the EMP on the Farseer. This Melter might not survive. It is this absorption module keeping everything together. Actually, you're gonna win this game. Okay. This was a bit of a struggle, though, I feel. But you found the win condition, the Melter. Okay? And once the Melter is outscaled, you won the game. This was the win condition. Everything that you do should support the win condition here. What have we got? Armor piercing. So, looking at the board again, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still 11 packs here. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This, you know, still, I would love to see more chaff clear. I think we need to focus on winning the chaff war, because when you win the chaff war, then your actual damage dealing units will do their job. Like, did these scorpions do a lot? Yeah, I guess they did okay. But I mean, late game, they eventually do get a lot of damage. Level 4, level 5 scorpion. Yeah, I think that you need to focus a bit more on the economy and the late game and the scaling. But let's jump into the next replay. Okay, also in red. So we're going to flip the board around. So we're going to watch it from this perspective. So, amp spec, sure, doesn't matter too much, but we have the sledge and the fang going to a standard position here as well. Same arclight, that's great. Choosing arclight into, you know, Mustang crawler is going to be very good. So I expect you to win this round fairly easily. There's a couple of marksmen left. Great. All right, let's pause. So we got shield chosen by both. Yeah, I mean, that's the best choice here, especially for standard. You can put that wherever. They are cost control. So what do we want to do on round 2? In these early rounds, it's important to build up your board, build the chaff clear. Because if you lose a round early, it doesn't matter that much. You don't lose much damage. So you can spend time focusing on building a board that will support your heavy duty units, whatever you're going to put probably in the back here, so that they can do their job, right? And you don't have to spend a deployment later on where you would like to spend it on a melter or something, right? Like something big like that. You'll have to end up buying chaff. And that never feels good. So let's see what we got here. We got a couple marksmen picked up. Are you worried about air? I wouldn't worry about air this turn. Your opponent chose marksman. Probably not going to be choosing air as well with the marksman. Instead, yeah, we see double Stormcaller. I think in this case, to deal with the marksman, building late fangs or even like crawlers in the back corners here would be fine. A unit drop, so the saber is offered. Yeah, okay. I don't like this. So you've chosen saber as a way to deal with the stormies. Okay, the missile interceptor is not very good on the saber tooth. I know it's not very intuitive, but it doesn't intercept all that well. And there's nothing on the board other than the missile interceptor that you're really using these sabers for. So you're spending money on a tech, which you cannot refund for units that aren't really going to be doing much other than that. Of the other units here, I mean, we have like 3 other chaff clear units, and you have a board already that has a lot of chaff. Like we've got the Mustang, which you would consider chaff until they get range. Fire Badger could be great here, or even Wraith. Typhoon even, but like Typhoon's more aggro. I mean, debatable that Fire Badger's aggro, but you could play it standard. Typhoon, I don't think you can really play standard. But yeah, if you had the Fire Badger here, like your opponent goes for Fire Badger right away and range. Like they don't have chaff clears. They've been rewarded by Bear Lake, given the chaff clear option here. And that's going to help, and they're going to be able to just keep building marksman. All right. What was that range on? Range on arc light. Range on 2 arc lights. So right away you saw those guys are dead now. The saber teeth. No, there's nothing doing the missile interception. I think early on, round 3, maybe it's not that important to get the missile interceptor. Because now, your opponent can simply sell out of these, and you've spent 200 or whatever on missile interception. You're never going to get back, and they'll be able to get back 400, like from the Stormcallers. And these guys are also not really doing anything. We see more marksmen. Okay. So you don't know this yet, but round 4, you should see the strategy being chosen for your opponent. Okay. So let's talk about this a sec. So first of all, yes, crawler like this, that's a great way to turn off these Stormcallers. You did not need to invest in this. You knew what you could do to distract the Stormcallers. So this was a waste of money. And these units not doing anything. Most likely going to sell out of them. We see now the opponent's game plan is marksman. They want to play far back. They want to clear everything. They have these fire badges in the way. They have what? Napalm, probably scorching charge, great, and range. They're going to put a bunch of chaff clear stuff, and they're going to try to light fire all on the board here, force you to come into them, and shoot you from far back. You got range already on the marksman, double shot, EMP. Okay. So also they don't have marksman, elite marksman tech, which is a bit weird for this kind of play, but this can still work. But it's a bit, you know, I don't know, suboptimal. So we look at this board and we can say, all right, we have light units here with Mustang, right? They don't do very much damage, but they have high rate of fire. The marksmen, they can shoot from very far away. And then we have also like more light stuff here in the Fire Badger. Stormcaller as well, like shoots far away. So what can we do to abuse this? There's a few things, right? We can get armor on, for example, rhinos. Armor on rhinos will be able to tank the Mustang and tank the Fire Badger. So if we had, I mean, I can't believe I'm recommending this, but if you had like late rhinos here with armor and, what's it called? The evolution, whatever, combat evolution. Eventually those, I think, would start to scale. You could also ignore the armor right away. Just go for like 2 rhinos combat evolvement. Eventually they'll run up and the marksman will not be able to out damage it. It'll have way too much HP and nothing else should be able to kill it either. You'll force a response from your opponent. They'll have to do something that they maybe don't want to do. Right? Maybe they have to get Melter, which kind of doubles up the role as marksman, because they don't, I don't think they really want to do that. But you get them off their game plan as well. Another option, Sandworm. Sandworm also, you know, it's underground. It can't get shot by range stuff. So if one opponent wants to play really far back, you can get a Sandworm beacon into the tower, something like that. You don't even have to beacon. Just let it go. and it'll be very hard to kill a sandworm. Now these are plays, obviously, this is turn 4 right now, and you just noticed what the opponent's plan is. So this is something to think about for your game plan for finding your win condition for the future. Right, so now that we know what's going on, we can focus on what we want to do for our win condition. This is why I was saying before in the early rounds, you know, do the standard stuff. Build your chaff, build your... Against early marksmen, you pretty much always want to have late fangs back here, right? Because then eventually, as the round goes on like this, the marksmen are going to free farm what's left. But if you had some fangs slowly walking up this way, they avoid being killed by the chaff clear, and then they get in the way of the marksman. So late fangs is very good in standard here against marksmen as well. So it looks like, yeah, and even with the shield, like, I don't think you're going to be able to get through this. Too many marksmen now. Okay. So let's see what your response is here to all these marksmen. Oh, hang on. All right. Mobilize battleship for your opponent, which is crazy. And then you've got an enhancement module. Where's that enhancement module going to go? Here on the sledgehammer. You can level that up for free. All right. So you've chosen an economy play. It's 300 for this. You're going to try to bounce it around, maybe sell out of the sledges. I agree with that. You know, the sledges are going to get killed by the marksman eventually. You do have armor, but you don't have regen. So, yeah, you know, the marksman will outscale this. So, sure, you can use this. You can sell out of that. Use the money for something heavier. Oh, let's keep playing here. Okay, so you're building up a bit of that chaff now. And we see more marksmen. Okay. So you're trying to play the opponent's game here. Which is essentially playing from behind, right? You're adding more marksmen at level 1, and they already got a lot of level 2 marksmen here, and they have more marksmen than you, and they're ahead in tech. So they already had range. You didn't have anything. I don't think this is a great idea because you're playing from behind. You need to find a different way to solve that. However, it will help against this boat. Potentially. Not quite. And now look at this. So your board is even regardless for this overlord. Look at the board now. Like this just died. Everything is dead. Like all your chaff is dead. The fire badges killed everything, and now the marksmen are gonna just farm. They're gonna get more experience. You didn't actually sell that sledgehammer. You leveled it up for free, and I would have sold out of that. Try to bounce that around. I don't know if I don't know if this is worth it anyway when you're not having giants, because it takes a longer time to get your money back. Don't use enhancement module for the 25% increase. That's not really worth it. Use it for stocks, right? You put it on the unit, you level it up, you sell the unit. Then you can put it on a different unit, level it up, and try to get your money back eventually, and you get your economy going, and you'll outscale your opponent economy-wise. This is an economy card, okay, an economy item. Chosen here we have Missile Strike and Assault Fortress. Okay, Assault Fortress, cool. That extra move speed, extra HP. That seems good to me, right? They won't die easily to the marksman. They won't die easily to the fire badger. You can use them. You can get shield even and protect your stuff and walk in and hopefully be able to kill your opponent by... oh, I see you got intensive here. Okay. So yeah, intensive with the enhancement module. That makes sense. There's your win condition, actually. Okay. Enhancement module and intensive training is a win condition. For that reason of being able to actually every round level something up and then sell it and get your money back or whatever. Let's see what the response is here. Okay. Okay. No, okay. Siege mode. And missiles. 3 missiles. Okay, so we spent 150 on missiles. We bought some scorpions. We got siege mode. And now look at this board. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 6. 6 chaff. Opponent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chaff. Plus a couple mustangs. They've got so much stuff here. Where's all your units? Well, you've had to buy these big scorpions, and you tech them right away as well. So you first went into marksman to get range on marksman, to deal with the other marksmen where there was more of them. And then we've got scorpions here. I guess this is supposed to help with the fire badgers, and also late game, late round siege mode can help deal with marksmen. Sure, like I understand, but these units are completely unsupported. We also only have 1, 2, 3 arc lights here for chaff clear. Everything else is kind of single target. I mean, I guess the sledgehammers are a little bit a chaff clear as well. And then we had to spend missiles in order to help with chaff clear. So you're losing money by doing that. Do we have any upgrades? You could have, I mean, you could have oiled even, I don't know, 150 bucks. Could go a long way. Did you... You could have sold the sledges as well, or level up the sledge and then sold it, and you'd have 2, 3, 400 extra bucks. So you have 550 extra dollars if you level this up and sold it. And that could have, you know, been upgrade. That could have been, I mean, you used your deployments on the scorpions this turn, so I'm not gonna say deployments, I guess, but like, yeah. So look at this now. Your chaff is all dead. The opponent still has about 3-ish packs of crawlers. And now all the marksmen are starting to shoot and lock onto you. Your scorpions, now the chaff is dead, and your scorpions can start to shoot. Imagine if they could shoot earlier. Probably still gonna win this round. But, like, yeah, imagine if they could shoot earlier. They cleared the chaff a bit faster, then they'd be able to do their job a bit better. So unit drop, tarantula pickup. So yeah, you are recognizing, like, hey, there's a lot of crawlers here. I do need more chaff clear. So, sure, 2 squads of rank 2 tarantula. That's genuinely helpful. You got 2 different types of chaff clear units now. So are you going to have to tech range on these 2? Or are you just going to leave them? I'm going for boat mothership. Yeah, there's something that you are weak against. If you had more fangs, it could help with the wasps. But not all is lost. You do have these marksmen. I noticed you're also selling out of these saber teeth. So if you're going to sell them anyway, I mean, that's where this enhancement module could go. Go on the saber tooth and then upgrade, or sorry, level up the saber tooth, sell it, get your money back, put it on the next guy. And then if you didn't have to spend money on missile interceptor there, you'd have even more money from that. So again, you're spending too much money on missiles, you're spending too much money on temporary stuff and not actually using it for your investment into your army. Your economy is struggling, basically. So now, yeah, you got 3 Mustangs here, level 2. Sure, yeah, that can be your response to these overlords. We got, wait a second, missile interceptor. Okay, wait, what? Missile interceptor range. So you're still worried about these 2 level 1 stormcallers. Click on them, see how much damage they're doing. And that one's okay. This one did you know, nothing. You did have that one missile interceptor guy, I guess, but even still, like, I don't know. I wouldn't worry too much about 2 of these storm callers. The range is good. The level 2 Mustang recruitment is good as well. Better than recruiting them at level 1, especially when you have to deal with the boats here. But we still have this enhancement module not being used. You have the win condition here. Intense training enhancement module. Sell this. This guy, he's done nothing as well, right? 5,000 damage last turn, only 38 that whole time. Like, both of these are not doing anything. They were countered right away by these marksmen. They're not useful. You get a couple bubbles here. 1, 2. We still only have 3 arc lights. We do have 2 tarantula, but they don't have range. Tarantula die pretty easily to Overlord as well. So, okay, now we've got this first wave of the opponent's chaff is dead, so good job. Yours also dead. You have a little bit coming in here now. Opponent has more. And now it looks like your next wave is done. And your third wave is your late fangs. So good job, you built those late fangs. Opponent still has a bunch of crawlers here in the way, so none of your guys are getting their shots properly. Like this guy has done basically nothing. And then you're also going to have to deal with these wasps. Mustangs are getting a little farther ahead. You know, instead of a missile interceptor, I mean, I guess it does help against the Overlord a bit too. But like you could also pick... Oh, you don't have... Okay, you need to have AA on Mustang, 100%. I would choose, you know, what's your more favorite of armor piercing or high explosive? Choose one of them and then make the other one AA. If you like to play late game standard carry stuff, maybe get rid of high explosive ammo, put AA on it. That will keep your Mustangs farther back. They're going to focus fire the air. It's going to help you in these situations. So look how your Mustangs are now sort of coming in front here, and they're going to get killed. Getting killed by some of those fire badgers. Yeah. Now, Scorpion Mustang is a good comp if you can get there. It looks like now... Okay. Now we're going to have another wave of Mothership, and all of your Mustangs are dead. They're too far forward. That's probably going to be game, right? You do get some locks here now. In between, you did get a couple lucky locks between when those wasps spawned. But it's just a little too late. Now it's going to be game 2. All right, so if we look at the board here, yeah, we could have even later fangs. If you build this up later, or earlier rather, these would slowly trickle in, and then you'd have another wave after your chaff is dead, and maybe they could get in front so that your Mustangs aren't face tanking. Right, you'd have another wave of fangs. And then your basically your chaff clear are insufficient. So I would set some rules for yourself, right? Let's say, how do we fix this? Like the number one way to win, like you have the right idea of what units that you want to build for your comp late game, but you're not supporting those units enough. So let's focus on supporting those units, and then maybe that can help you get into the late game and have a better economy and solve it. Right? Because if you have a lot of units here that aren't doing their job, like you could probably get away with only like 2 Scorpions, right? If they were actually shooting their target. 2 Scorpions, I don't know, like there's 4 Fire Badgers, so you have 1 for each Fire Badger. That's a loss in value, right? Scorpions 300, Fire Badgers 200. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 800, and maybe you could get away with 600 value in Scorpion, maybe if you had 2 of them and more chaff, or even 3 of them. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Right, maybe there's a bit, 1 too many, and you could use that deployment for your fangs or whatnot. So I'm not sure how often you're clicking mass recruitment, but on the board, it looks like to me, you just have less stuff. So I'm not sure that you're clicking the mass recruitment enough. And it seems like you're clicking techs a bit too early. I would delay the tech, get range on your chaff clear on round 3 or round 4, but for your core units here, like your Scorpion, don't tech the Scorpion right away. Don't tech, those core units right away. Try to wait and see what responses, especially if it's a turn where units were deployed. You want to see what they do, because you might end up countering yourself, spending money where you don't need to. And then Tarantula, you had to pick these because you had insufficient chaff clear. So, like I said, let's try some rules here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 packs of crawlers, and we have 3 arc lights. Let's say we always want to have half as many chaff clear as chaff. So if this is 12, then we want 6, 6 arc lights. Okay, and even that is probably not enough. But you have to see kind of how the game is going. 6 arc lights. Okay. So if we have 3, we want a couple more. Make sure you got one over here, right? We have some stuff coming in from the sides. Like, look where the positioning is. And these are going to come in this way. If you had an arc light kind of close to the edge here, that's going to help get rid of the side stuff. You can kind of line things up. So like, that's why, lining them up in front of the tower here helps with this whole column. This guy helps with this column. This guy helps with this column. That's great. But we don't have guys in the corner for these columns. So that's kind of important. Trying not to mix I know you had to take this game, but try not to mix the different chaff clear too much. Try to focus on getting the techs eventually, right, for the ones that you have, once you have enough of the units. And if you're going for arc light, then yeah, supporting it with the Mustangs is great. How long have we been recording here? Do I have time for one more? Let's look at one more. We'll do this one real quick. Okay, I might jump around a bit. Okay, you are on red, so we'll flip this around. Quick deploy here. So round 1, yeah, we've got Void Eye Sledge. That's a good pack. You're up against the... Whoa, just Void Eye Mustang. Okay. And we've got the arc lights on turn 1. Yeah, I mean, expecting chaff, obviously. Now, in this case, you actually don't need the arc lights in turn 1 because the sledgehammers do have enough chaff clear for round 1 if your opponent does not have a pack that has chaff in it. But you could do 1-to-1 sledgehammer for chaff pack. So the maximum chaff your opponent could have is 2, and you would have 2 sledgehammers, so that would be okay. But that's maybe a bit advanced. Let's ignore that. I think this is totally fine for your level. Getting those arc lights online, totally fine. But now you see your opponent's strategy already on round 2. So let's pause this for a second. Opponent's strategy on round 2 was more Void Eyes. What is the response to that? Okay, we got a couple crawlers. And Rhino. We are Rhino Smith. So a couple crawlers, and you got range on round 2. So you didn't have... I mean, it's going to work. I would delay that to round 3, to be honest, because we didn't actually see any chaff that turn. So you could have delayed it. But it's going to work. That's fine. Now, we've got unit drop here, and we see the Hound pick, but there's a lot of other good options here, too. So the Void Eye, if we look at the Void Eye tech bar, there's no aerial. Okay, and you don't have... I mean, you do have aerial, I guess. We don't have another way to shoot up, though. You've also already committed into Arclight. By committing, I mean you spent money on range. So getting the hounds here... Is that really important? No. You could get more Arclights instead. Stormcallers, marksmen are great for standard. You're playing standard. You could do the same thing, like get your marksman down here, or go for Stormcallers as well. Either option's good. Even the wasp could be good. 2 packs of wasps, you can put them in the back flanks. Whoops, here and here, and then you're never going to be able to be flanked. Instead, we got the hounds, so that's kind of sketch. Also, we saw a board of Void Eyes, and the Void Eyes are good against hounds. So this was a mistake, 100%. Good, we're using Master Recruit. We get a couple Fangs in front. That's going to help tank some of these Void Eye shots. Great. We also have more late crawlers. This is looking much better. Other than these hounds, like we're going to watch, see how these hounds do. They just get in here, they walk. They can't even get any shots off. They get slowed down. And thankfully, the rest of this stuff, like this Arclight, was your killer. Alright. So this Arclight here was your silver damage. And I'm guessing, yeah, this one is the gold damage. Look how good your Arclights are doing. You spent money to tech them on round 2, and then you've only got 2 of them. You haven't built any more. Just go into it. Just lean into it. You've already spent the money on the tech. It's $300 to get ranged. Build more Arclights. You could totally stomp on this. You outrange the Void Eye until they get range as well. And that's going to cost them $500. You're going to have an economy advantage because there are 2 techs having to be chosen to deal with your 1 tech. But, okay, so you are a Rhino player. You got the Rhino this turn. Heavy armor. This is a great move. Fantastic. I do see you got Comet Evolvement. That is a possibility. Field maintenance like this is annoying to deal with. This could be good. And now we've got some Mustang. Okay. Mustang protects you from the side flank, from aerial, whatever. And here, again, we've got double missiles. You're spending money on missiles on round 4. So you're trying to play tempo, but you're a standard player. You're playing standard, so I think you're wasting money on this. You also already had, this was a power spike turn, right? You had that Rhino this turn with heavy armor. It has 73,000 HP. That's your power spike. You don't need to spend the money on the missiles as well. Okay, unit drop turn. And now we've got the Vulcan here, and you've chosen the Fire Badgers, it looks like. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so Fire Badger level 3. Fire Badger does not win against Void Eye. It will help against the Mustangs, I suppose. But your opponent went for Vulcan. And you've already got the Rhino with heavy armor. I would like to see you have armor on here as well. I would get rid of Photon. Or Field Maintenance. Probably Field Maintenance. One or the other. Pick your favorite. Or your least favorite and remove it. Put armor on. Armor is super important on Rhino. It's the best tech on Rhino by far. Because you can have this Rhino run in and this Vulcan and this Typhoon, they're going to lock onto it and it won't do any damage. You'll see this turn. Oh, wait, what? Why do we have Sweep? Okay, one side note is like that Rhino ran into the slow field thing there. Maybe the Rhino on the left side would have been better. Just a nitpick. But look at this. Look how long it's shooting it, and it doesn't even have armor. If it had armor, this thing would never die. You would actually win the round because everything would be locked onto it and it would survive. But now this Vulcan gets a level which is going to get scary. The Vulcans are going to start to scale, and now we found the opponent's win condition. And we don't have a win condition of our own. Opponent's win condition. Get Vulcan, survive, and now they can support all of these units that they built in the first few rounds. They did not care whether they lost those first few rounds. They were just kind of getting their board online. This is like what we talked about with getting chaff before. Get chaff, get your board online before you find your win condition, and then support your win condition. So they, instead of building chaff, they built the Void Eye, and now they have units to support the Void Eyes that's supporting their win condition. You've got a standard board here. We have sweep for some reason. I guess you were worried about the napalm or something. I don't know. I wouldn't have clicked that. You didn't know what was happening. And these hounds are not doing anything right now. They get countered by those Void Eyes. Void Eye does decent single target damage, and there's 3 of them, and they can just clear pack hounds like nothing. Also pretty good into sledgehammers. So now you may be wondering, like, okay, well, if we spent a whole bunch of money buying crawlers, and now they have Vulcans, what do we do now? Support them. Okay, if you spend a bunch of money on that, that's what this Rhino can do. The Rhino can help support them. Get armor. Get the Vulcans to shoot something other than the chaff. If you can. But here, okay, we've gone... Maybe you're panicking. I don't know. You're trying to end the game. They're under 2k, so you pick Lightning Storm. That's not the economy play. That's the I want to kill you play. But I will commend you here. You picked Raiden, which does do well against all these Void Eyes. So you found your win condition. You want your Raidens at level 2 to kill everything. And you want to support the Raidens. You want to get range on them. Maybe eventually EMP or one of the other, fork or chain, one or the other. You don't usually want to get both. In this case, okay, so now this Rhino comes in. He's tanking, he's tanking, he's tanking. He's supporting your Raiden. He's supporting your other units. And they get their kills. They get the job done. Awesome. That's what we want to see. So it looks like you should be able to win this turn, no problem. You're going to take the power back, take the tempo back. It's up to the opponent now to solve your potential win condition. Okay, we got barrier chosen on both. Let me just pause real quick here. Yeah, I mean, that's... you don't have any giants, so like, I don't know why. You don't really need to pick that. That's expensive for not having another giant. You'd have to unlock another giant and then use it. Imagine if you had a whole bunch of arc lights already, right? You still only have 2 units clearing chaff. I'm not including the hounds here because the hounds are just dying. I mean, again, I guess you're right. There's no chaff to be said. Not a lot. Actually, none whatsoever. So I guess maybe you're right. Like, how can I abuse my opponent that's not building chaff? Well, I don't need to build chaff clear. And so in this case, you I guess, have fully supported the idea that matching the chaff clear to the chaff, and this, let's say 2 packs of Mustangs would be the chaff. Then you have 2 arc lights, so sure, okay. So you're winning chaff. You're equal on chaff clear, let's say. And what was I saying? Yeah, so if my opponent has no chaff, how can I abuse that? Units that do actual damage, right? Raiden, right? This is great. This is going to do very well. Another thing you can do is like hackers, or like hackers when they get stuck on chaff, obviously they don't do very well. But if there's nothing in the way, the hacker could do very well. Any single target unit, melters, fortress, marksman, you know, whatever. Those will all work because there's nothing to block for them. An opponent, their choice is marksman aerial. So I will say, hopefully you get range this turn. Okay. So fortress, and you got the barrier on the fortress, and then you built another barrier here. A little bit redundant, a little bit of waste of money there. But the other thing is, so last turn you built 2 level 2 Raidens, and you found your win condition. And like I was saying, let's support the win condition. How do we lose the game? The reason why we won that last round was because the Raidens could kill everything. We need to support them. How can you support them? Get range. Keep them farther back. Let them shoot from farther away and safe from danger. Okay? Put more chaff in front. Okay? So, you know, this fortress can do a good job. We have a tank here. We have a tank here. that can help. That's great. But I'm worried that these Raidens are going to get a little too close, and they're going to get shot by these AA marksmen, which is a pretty obvious response to those Raiden. So now they're finally able to shoot, but they only started shooting once most of your army there was dead. If they could shoot farther back, it would be a bit better. And now they've got locked onto... And that looks like a lot of damage there. Okay. We got one more try here. Heavy armor is offered. Smoke. Wait, what? Smoke. Okay. Heavy armor. So we sold out of this Rhino now, but the Rhino was actually very helpful. If you had another Rhino, you could do double Rhino with heavy armor. You can put heavy... Well, no, you can't put heavy armor in the fortress because you got the barrier. Like, you need to have tanks in order to survive here, to keep the Vulcans occupied. Now we got range, now that you've been countered. Another fortress. Fortress range I don't like because they're going to stay farther back, and then you want these to tank. You want them to be in front, so you don't really want range on them. Well, you do get to sweep up some of that smoke, so that's cool. But yeah, look, now these guys are far back. Sure, they can get a bit of damage in, but really your damage dealers are supposed to be these Raiden. So if we look, we have 150 meter range here, 140. So yes, they will stay just in front. But they need to be 30 meters in front, otherwise the aerial mode, see how that's extra range by 30? They're going to target the air unit. They will prioritize that unless there's a unit about 30 meters in front, which now they're all dead. And these guys are staying back. They're going to lock on, yeah, to that Raiden, and that's going to be it. Yeah. So, I guess rules to follow here. Chaff clear, win the chaff war, and then find a win condition and support your win condition. Okay, and I think if we can follow those kind of rules, you're gonna find the game much easier, and you should be able to fly. Because you have made some good choices here, but you're wasting a bit of money as well. Like, we got a little bit of text that we don't need early. Hounds, which were chosen into Void Eyes, is not really what you want. You did realize, like, I need more tankiness, so we got these fortresses, but you had a pretty good tank here in that Rhino. Yes, the Rhino did eventually die, but if you watch the battle, while it was taking all that damage, you were doing so much damage in the meanwhile. So I think, like, you could have just made more Rhinos. Let's see. This here. Let's take over this turn here. I will support my hypothesis. So I'm going to skip because we don't need any of that. I will get range because we want range. I will get combat evolvement because sure. Go this guy here, and we go this guy here, and we can sell. I don't know. Sell that guy and. Actually, if I sell this guy... No, I can't afford that. Whoops. We don't need these, but I'm not sure what I can do with this extra money. I guess we could get... whatever. Like, this is not ideal, obviously, but we could have some late chaff maybe that could help support these Raidens as well. Alright, so this guy looks getting a lot of HP. And let's see. Now these guys will stay back. You'll be able to shoot from farther away. Why is there napalm? Okay, rhinos do die. But this is the round where you had lost pretty heavily. And now we're winning the right side. Power goes down. Rhino is getting more and more HP. Look how much distraction this is causing. And now we can actually win that round. We supported our win condition. We supported our Raidens. Hey, they get levels now too. That's even better. Next round we get level 3 Raidens. And you know, maybe they'll find a way to counter the Rhinos next round. They'll put melters or something, or I don't know. Then that's fine, because you could find a way to support the Rhinos. Maybe you put like some more chaff, but I mean, I guess the Vulcans come. So like, yes, Rhinos do have like a limit eventually, but they're there to buy you time so that your big units can do stuff, right? You have chaff, which is supposed to die by taking the shots of high damage units. So there's a lot of overkill. And then you have, you know, the big tanky boys to take the shots and die eventually from the units that should be killing your light units. So you're balancing them out. All right, that's probably enough from me. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for the replays, and I look forward to seeing your progress. Guys in the chat, if you have any other requests or comments or anything like that, you can always leave them in the YouTube video here, or come join the Discord. Leave replays as well. I'd love to review them, and you know, join the Mechacademy. We're going to try to improve everyone's Mechabellum game here in the new year, and so everyone can reach their MMR goals or tournament goals or whatever. And yeah, stay tuned for that. So that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Like, subscribe, please. You know, this is a lot of work to do this kind of stuff. I would really appreciate your subscriptions. It means a lot. We're almost at 1,000. It'd be fantastic to hit that. If you've watched this long and you're not subscribed, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. All right. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.